Fines?
Yes. Almost 2 years ago, year and a half ago, I was chairman of the membership committee, and Val was part of my committee at that time, so was Tom Remley, and we communicated back and forth. And one of the things at the time, we presented to Jacksport, because they are a major landowner, the opportunity to become a director of this organization, with no preconditions attached. Mr. Rubin was here, and we discussed it. And just to give you a brief synopsis, as you have done before, Mr. Chairman, I contacted Jacksport's Director of Communications, Nancy Rubin, on Friday, December 12, 2008. The invitation was extended for Jacksport to become one of our 9 permanent director organizations. Ms. Rubin said that Jacksport becoming a director of the partnership was part of a pending settlement agreement. I explained that the invitation to Jacksport was not conditional on any settlement to which Jacksport may be involved, and that our invitation was based solely on Jacksport being a legitimate entity that owns substantial property within our area of advisory responsibility to the city of Jacksonville and Atlantic Beach. We both agreed that it was proper for a contact to have been made with her office, as it was likely her office would be responsible for covering any director position. Ms. Rubin said she would have to confer with higher authority and would get back to me as quickly as possible. It should be noted that the Mayport Waterfront Partnership is not political or involved in any settlement agreements. Within 3 hours, Ms. Rubin called back and left a message on my answering machine. She stated that Jacksport becoming a director of the Mayport Waterfront Partnership is conditional upon a settlement agreement with parties involved in negotiations. The Mayport Waterfront Partnership is not involved in negotiations for any settlement agreement, and that fact was clearly understood. On Saturday, December 13th, I called Ms. Rubin's office and left a message on her answering machine that I would be recommended to our board of directors not to consider Jacksport for a director position in our corporation. Within 5 minutes, Ms. Rubin called back and requested I defer from any further action until she met with higher authority, and she would definitely get back to me on Monday. It should be noted that any settlement agreement between Jacksport and any parties cannot force our Florida corporation to accept Jacksport as a director without a board of directors approval. I firmly believe that Jacksport lacks the community orientation, understanding, and involvement as demonstrated by the attached received email. Therefore, without objection, I will recommend to our board of directors in the meeting on Tuesday, December 16th, that Jacksport not be considered for a director position in the Mayport Waterfront Partnership. This email is from Ms. Rubin. She said, I spoke to Mr. David Kaufman this morning about the invitation you extended to Jacksport to serve on the Mayport Waterfront Partnership. Since this is one of the items contained within the agreement being worked on presently, and since the partnership has indeed been represented at the agreement discussions, it would be premature for Jacksport to accept that invitation before the agreement has been finalized. Thanks for the invitation and so forth. Now, I presented that on behalf of the membership committee, if you recall, as a motion, and it died for lack of a second. And it was a feeling of the directors at that time, I believe, that it would be addressed at the time it came up, which it has come up with your committee now. And
how long ago was that?
That was December 2008.
Do the math, roughly 18 months ago.
It's been...
And litigation still pending.
Roughly 18 months ago.
No, 2 years. Yeah,
2 years ago.
18 months ago, whatever. Yeah. I'd like to know what has changed.
I would like to reiterate what Mr. Bostwick has pointed out, which a lot of things have changed in 18 months to 2 years.
What has changed as far as
Two years ago, I was making $250,000 a year. 2 years ago. But today, the economic climate has changed. My income has changed. Everyone in this room's income has changed. I am dealing with the realities of business economics in this village. Now, our meaning of our purpose is to do what? The economic benefit and beautification and preservation of our waterfronts. Why was the Duval County people involved in this litigation?
That's a preemptive. I mean, that's a predicated, she said, on their changing, them making a settlement. What has changed?
Please allow me to continue. Uninterrupted, thank you.
I will allow you, and I expect the same courtesy.
My point is this. Things have changed in the last 2 years. The important thing to remember is keeping an open mind, because without keeping an open mind, it's like a parachute. It won't work. We have to keep in mind that our economic climate has changed. As Val has pointed out, we have lost businesses in this community. We are stagnant in our motion of any type and are not moving forward. We should consider any and all parties that are a member of this community. We should give equal voice to all members, owners or non-owners, that have an interest in our organization. We are not here to serve one organization. As they say, we're not a watchdog organization. We are an opportunity to maintain the heritage and history of Mayport, to oversee its economic development and ecotourism, and have the opportunity to work with any and all members of the community that would like to move in our direction. That is to say that they would like to see the same things we would. Preservation of our community, keeping our fishing and shrimping docks working, keeping our community in the heritage and history that it was intended to be. A small fishing village, not a cruise terminal. Now, the Port Authority's preliminary desire 2 years ago was to look at a potential opportunity for a cruise terminal here. But what we have found is not only a resistance, a very strong one from the village, but from other members of the community. I think they get that point. Now, here's an opportunity to open up a line of communication, an opportunity for a person, one person from the Port Authority, among all of our membership, to have an opportunity to listen and talk and participate, and most importantly, communicate. And without the ability to communicate with our landowners and without our government working with us to communicate with us, we no longer serve the purpose which we were intended to do, which is to help move Mayport Village forward into the 20-teens with a new opportunity for economic development. No one has ever advocated on this board a development of a cruise ship terminal. But that does not mean that the Port Authority, as a landowner, does not have the opportunity to speak. I think it's essential that all parties are involved. Now, since that 2 years, 3 years ago that we've lost folks from various parts of the city and from Luke Kovic's standpoint, we have really kind of sat dead center without being able to move a lot. I believe that opening up lines of communication, working with the city of Jacksonville, encouraging the city of Atlantic Beach to all rejoin the partnership and to open up our doors to the opportunities that could be developed is essentially a part of our democratic process. Now, one person's vote, such as Nancy Rubin, whether she's representing the Port Authority or whether she is simply an individual on this board, still is not a single overwhelming vote. It's merely an opportunity for one person's representation and view. Now, all I'm asking for you to consider is just
you're out
the
of order
potential.
because you're debating, and you're not to debate from the chair. So, in all due respect, I move that we take and go to a committee as a whole, so that the chair can debate and vote on issue.
Thank you, Carol.
Is there
I
any,
defer.
that was me as a second.
Ms.
So we
Baldwin.
move
I have
to.
one more thing.
So, is there a second to my
Yeah,
motion?
I second the motion.
So the chair can debate and vote on the issue.
Yeah, this is not for the chairman to
I
debate
think
a
that
situation.
Hang on.
The author of the email is here. Why are we debating as if Ms. Rubin isn't here? She can answer the question when she's sitting right here.
Thank you.
Ms. Rubin,
Can you call for a vote?
would you read the question? I believe the question was, what has changed from the Port Authority's opinion from 2008 to now?
Call for the vote.
Mickey, if I would, please allow Mr. Huffman